Hi there, just thought I'd stop as I was going past on this 80 kilometres an hour limit road to have a look at this water. There's a really nice bridge just behind you actually. I might show you in a minute. It's just all made of stone in lovely form, and it's got nice old buildings here. Beautiful old church. Yeah, I just noticed that there's unfortunately not much water to bathe in. I might have a paddle. Water levels are quite low around here. I'm halfway between Aix-en-Provence city and Cannes city, about 50-mile long journey. Couple of things checking in with is I am dealing with a bit of a tummy problem, and I'm putting that down to a couple of things. First 3 days, lots of heat, and I think I might have had, well, I've got a bit of a confession to make. I've been necking stuff, guys, to get through these difficult times. Sugar. I've been having sugary stuff, which I don't normally have, but those first 3 days, I did just pop a few little bits of high sugars. GI stuff was, you know, the glycemic index through the roof kind of stuff. You know, you go to, I went to the boulangerie, and I was like, the boulangerie, why wouldn't I have a pain au chocolat, you know, and a coffee? And I was thinking, oh, I need the sugar, you know, I need the sugar. Just such a story. Sugar's really, really addictive. It's, by the way, more addictive than cocaine. It's a very difficult one to give up, especially if you're feeling like you need some energy. You're completely dehydrated, like I was on Wednesday. I had heat exhaustion, and on Thursday it was hottest day on record, pretty much. I mean, you know, in the UK, down here it was baking, and I had some really hard, long roads to get through. So anyway, I used the sugar, and I think that's probably why my tummy's not doing too well, because you know you feed stuff that's actually normally symbiotic, bacteria in your tummy, and you know we have all kinds of bacteria all through our body which are very useful and helpful when we're in the right, you know, alkalinity, acid balance, sugar level, right? When those are okay, those bacteria are symbiotic for us. They give us energy, they help us, they're working with our biochemistry, etc., etc., energy on the physical body level, biologically speaking. Then there's probably other levels that I'm not educated in, I can't really talk much about. But those bacteria become parasitic when they're fed with sugar, which increases the acidity. Acidity goes up, sugar level goes up in the soft tissues, you know, the tissue fluid inside the cells, and in all in the soft tissue. Blood sugar level obviously goes up through ingestion through the stomach quite quickly, and then it just floods your whole system with stuff that's going to feed bacteria and turn them into parasites. So yeah, I'm feeling into that. I've been feeling into it a lot the last few days and understanding it again, just remembering what's the sustainable picture. Yes, it was a quick fix when I needed it, just to get through those first few days, but now I'm paying the price. It's just something I have to be careful not to get dehydrated at the moment, you see. And I've got 100 mile a day, more, to do to get to near Rome, Aquila from Calais, which is what this ride for Greenpeace is, distance-wise, 2,000 kilometres, more than that actually, within the time frame of a short time frame of 13 days. So that's what I'm up to, and that's what I'm dealing with. Secondly, mechanical failure this morning. I had bright idea of buying new wheels before I came on this trip, which is for safety, and it's a very good idea. But unfortunately, the very good brand of wheels that I bought are now manufactured in a different country, and the attachment, basically the skewer and the bolt really for attaching the wheel to the front forks, failed on me this morning when I was changing a puncture, and it's basically sitting in the front forks, the weight of the front of the bike. and it could just touch the brake blocks. You see what I mean? So it's only my body weight that's holding the front wheel in the front forks. If there's a slight pothole, which thankfully on the EU tarmac there's not many of, I have to say, it's very good. And by the way, I've ridden 750 miles now without getting one puncture. I fixed one puncture today, and then this bolt broke. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to manage on the cornering and make sure that I'm slowing down enough. So if there is there's that balance between going okay speed where I can see things coming and seeing it clear and flat tarmac that I can speed up a little bit and maintain control. So that's the balance that I'm finding on the second point there of observations in this diary. So with that, I'm done. I might have a puddle, but I think actually I've just got to take off because it's sort of a bit dismal, unfortunately. Hopefully we don't see more of this. Lack of water coming through. There's some very, very beautiful scenery now coming along, foothills of the Alps. I've just gone through a lot of it, and there's basically where the machinery can't get in. Like we've seen on the first few days, all of the planes, there's just combine harvesters just churning up. Everything's so efficient on productivity, and all those hedges have disappeared. All those little niches for wildlife have gone, and no wonder you don't see anything. The biodiversity's not there. It's so obvious. Whereas you go through the foothills of the Alps, and you've got all these little niches where the machinery, basically we don't drive machinery through old ways of cultivating the land. So those old ways of cultivating the land are still there. People just continue because the change is slower in those relatively inaccessible zones for the big machinery. That's what I'm noticing. That's my interpretation of what I noticed. But you're not going to get a big machine up mountains, are you? So it's just going to be too costly and difficult with the rocks there, etc., etc. Okay, that's enough for me for the moment. I'm halfway between Aix-en-Provence, I think it's called Aix-en-Provence, where I was last night. I actually had a washing machine, which was fantastic. I've been hand washing after all my long rides, and it's just I don't want to do anything, after all the effort. So I just, want to actually have an evening. And I ride hard to get there in time to have an evening. That's what I'm doing every day. There's no rest days in this. It's more than 100 miles a day, 135 miles the other day, 2,000 meters of elevation gain. It 2 days ago, and it's like, it's constant. I haven't got enough time to chill sometimes, and I'm managing to do that on the bike. I'm really managing to find a way of conscious awareness through tapping into the unconscious. Actually, there's a lot more I can share about that. Basically getting into the feeling and the feeling mind and what it's telling you about the balance point where you have to be able to do an event like I'm doing. Okay, with that I'm in.